Now, I believe that I have a certain amount of attention from the people in charge, and there are different agencies and communities. And I do believe they understand how serious it is to not feed the people of Yemen. And I do believe that they are on spiritual probation, in a sense. I believe that you are bitches, you are cowards, you are sniveling, greedy, petty ass, shaitan looking pussies. And I don't believe that you are going to do the right thing in regards to the famine and the potential famine in Yemen and the chaos and the suffering that we see there. I think that you do know that it hits home, and I think you do know that I will hold it against you. I think you do know that I am inclined to insult you to a very large degree, but I will give you the benefit of the doubt. I will give you that kind of consideration and courtesy. Anyway, so when we look at immaturity, stupidity, delusion, illusion, and disassociation, they have basically disassociated themselves from reality. And unfortunately, most people have, I mean, basically everyone but me to a certain extent, when they accept this kind of treachery. I once told myself when I was younger that if there was ever anything like a Nigerian civil war, I would do something about it. Okay. And it's rather unfortunate that I don't have the power to do something about this situation. Because yes, I would execute these people if I was in charge, or if I had the opportunity to, we'll call it legally. I would execute them. I would order their immediate execution, and I would immediately resolve the problem. Anything short of that is simply disgraceful. I know some people don't like Muslims. Some people don't like dark-skinned Muslims. I know some people don't like Yemenis people. Okay? And I know all these people are bitches. Okay? They might have some honest grievances, but they need to fix the bitch in themselves first before punishing other people. Speaking of bitches, with all due respect to any females that in history died in a state of honor, my intention is not to disrespect those people. On the contrary, it is to give them respect among other things, all of them virtuous, noble, and associated with men of valor for a good reason. We must consider the difference between being in a bad place in your mind, versus a child that is a defect, versus breeding to be evil. We must consider these things when we consider why people are allowed to suffer and die. When I analyze the poor, I see the more virtuous people, not the less. The more desirable people, not the less. And I think it is disingenuous and downright retarded to even begin to insinuate or assert that that is not the case. We look at women and the line in the sand. All the women need to consider, all people need to consider the word can't. In the word can't, we have the T, which is the feminine suffix, which is a variation of kin, con, knock, can, and see on. Okay? These things need to be considered. Explore these ideas on your own. If I spell them out for you all the time, you won't learn how to think. The most important thing I teach my viewers, I'd imagine, is how to think. Okay? And that leads to the divine order and all my other key points. So if you can think effectively, you will find your way to me and to my state of mind, a state of mind where the highest principles are all that matters. I would kill everybody close to me if that was what God wanted. The highest principles are all that matters. I would not hesitate to do so. And I would expect that if they really know me and really love me, that they would understand that it is what must be done. In other words, when we see the story of Abraham and Isaac, I believe it was, in the Bible, should the child that is going to be sacrificed hold it against the father if God has told him to do this? And I'm not talking about delusional sages and mages and illusionists who pretend to know the will of God and to pretend to have the highest interpretation of religious books that were perhaps not even written with the truth in mind. I am talking about the actual logical assumption of the most righteous and focused of men. Men with integrity and the ability to correct themselves when presented new information and follow suit. When we consider the demon types, all of them are compatible with hell. We have the focused military manner, demon-having, matrix-faced women. Intelligence community comes to mind, cops, undercover cop-like, etc. What allows you people to perform the duties of upholding the social norms and the laws and order of the state? It is a similar idea to this focused, mindful sort of behavior, right? Focused on the wrong things. Okay. Another variation of the demonic female we see is the giggling evil whore. Now remember, there are the male counterparts. I assure you. No, I absolutely assure you that men absolutely act like bitches as well. The giggling evil whore is perhaps the least threatening because she's more silly than she is an actual threat, if that is who she is and not who she's pretending to be. However, she is still an evil demon whore. We have the cocky evil whore. She's allowed to be cocky because she's extremely evil. She's less capable of applying evil with her mind power and more because of who she tells what to do. Okay. There's the demonic kitty slut. Okay, she's similar to the giggling evil whore. The giggling evil whore oftentimes takes on a slutty behavior when in the process of being sexual, and she kind of thinks it's funny, and she's like, "Am I doing a good job?" Kind of, I don't want to, you get the point. She's freaky, kinky, slutty, and there's an unattractive version of this, and she's overweight. Someone's called chubby, fatty, right, and so on. We have the busy intellectual at times demon. She's busy. Okay. And of course, she's busy being an evil demon. These are forms of demons. And when people have truly cultivated the higher forms of these forms, if you will, it is fair play to execute them. If the law says that demons should run society and operate with impunity, the law must be thrown out. I don't care if it's in the Bible. I don't care if it's in the Quran. I don't care if it's in every holy book that was ever written. Okay? If it is not the logical assumption for the wisest and the best, not some kind of parrot fucking idiot, but those who are willing to correct themselves with a higher moral scale, not with the assumption based on religious dogma, if you will, or the ranting and raving, and the nonsensical babble of enlightened men, or even the half-truths of scientists, but only the logical assumption, the most viable argument, if you will, the most logical argument. If you do not live in a way that is the most logical, you are insane. It is that simple. There are degrees of insanity, and it goes back to immaturity, stupidity, delusion, illusion, and disassociating. You are disassociating yourself with reality. Logically, if you look at this sign, and all these signs have said the same thing, and have given you logical directions, it says the city is that way. Jerusalem is that way. Do you then listen to a bunch of, it says in the book here, fuck all that shit. We see the signs. The logical assumption is the only sane direction. You need to be disciplined and dedicated to be sane. You need to be able to face adversity, to persevere, to withstand it, while being focused on doing the absolutely most moral thing there is to do. And this has nothing to do with functionalism. Societies have always functioned in a way that is dysfunctional. Throw that the fuck out. Pragmatic. It's always been, bitches are always pragmatic. Throw that out. Rational in the way that they're referring to, rationalism, throw that out. Realism, throw that out. Right? What they're referring to as realism is actually based on the psychological construct, and so is rationalism. Okay. So reason and sense is why I am different. Reason and sense. I am not trying to please anybody. When they say, "What do you mean?" When they're referring to me and they're playing stupid, it's because what I'm saying is mean to a bunch of cowards and conformists. Yes, I do mean to be mean. In a world where it is mean to tell the truth, you are a fucking nut if you are not mean. You are immature, cowardly, stupid, delusional, You live in the illusion and you disassociate. The martial arts systems do not all define the same person. Only the pure son, pure masculine martial arts system based on righteous indignation and sparring in nature, right? Terrain. I've gone over the wordplay around this as well. It adds up effectively from my sekhmet arguments, right? Seek mat, sick mat, okay? Seek mate, okay? Checkmate, right? When they have you on the mat, check the mat, checkmate. I mean, there's all kinds of wordplay that spells it out for you. You need to be on natural terrain. The natural and supernatural warrior is not forged on artificial flooring, artificial terrain. He is forged on compact kind of jungle dust and dirt and kind of bare minimum grass, right? Common terrains for battlefields. People don't pick battlefields in mud up to their nose, for instance. They don't pick the battlefield in the middle of the ocean unless they're in ships, okay? These are the common terrains, okay? Compact sand, okay? Things that aren't that slippery, but somewhat slippery. And quite often, you will have people take off their shoes, take off their sandals to perform in these conditions. When we look at Sun Tzu, The Art of War, I believe it was, where he said, consider terrain. How popular is this book? How nonsensical is it for martial artists to overlook this idea when it's in one of the most popular books in regards to warfare, and he wasn't even writing in terms of modern warfare, but ancient martial arts warfare with the addition of archers and so on. It is stupid not to see it this way. Yes, people are on some presentation bitch shit. It is also the difference between the cat and the leopard. There is more than size to consider, but principles. Cats do cute tricks and then impress us, especially people with female brains, especially females themselves. That's a cute trick. Your cat jumps on the fence like, wow, I never thought that cat can do it. When a leopard springs up onto a tree, nobody says, oh my gosh, because you just know by the way he is built. Figure it out. Worship, shape. If the cat was to claim that he is the top martial artist based on the form and his ability to appease the viewers and his presentation and demonstration, we will say that isn't such a cool cat after all. That is a liar. That cat becomes a snake. He doesn't increase his status and position. In reality, he becomes a rabid, demonic kitty. Certainly a pussy at best. So, with that being said, for the same reason the ogre is not the top martial art animal, neither is the bull or the lion. Is the lion more respectable than the bull? Perhaps, but it's right there in the name. Lion. And for the same reason, the cheetah is right there in the name. Running alone doesn't prove anything. People want to make it about yoga positions and shit. How flexible are you? Are we doing yoga? Are we gymnastic? Are we little girls in the Olympics that do gymnastics? If she was to make that argument that she's more flexible and that she is the superior, she's a martial artist. As a result, she's a demon. The kata is nothing more than a kitty's form. It's right there in the word, kata. I deal in the ka for the correction, the correction, the core. Shun is the correction. And that goes back to the E's. Evil, evil, effeminate, emasculated. Certainly society should be led by the masculine and mature man. He shows maturity, wisdom, reality, and true sanity. Surely a woman in her true, pure form is judged by her works. Her works include her body, which is meant to bear children. And it is only respectable if she bears righteous men's children. If a woman marries a complete abomination, we should not respect her. When that woman married Charles Manson, we should say, that is a stupid bitch. When he can find suitable helpers and has a huge following in fan mail, we must say society is basically in the spirit of a stupid bitch when people like me are shunned and he's not. Thank you.